It's day one in Austin, Texas of the 2026 Bevo Classic. Welcome to Red and Charlene McCombs Field, everybody. Tonight, the Texas Longhorns in their home opener welcome the in-state foes, Wildcats from Abilene Christian. And for the first time in the program history for the Burnt Orange and White, Texas takes the stage as the defending national champions. Welcome into our live coverage, everybody. Happy New Year. 13 games over the next 4 days, 6 of them featuring the defending national champions. Great to have you with us, Lincoln Rose, along with the Hall of Famer herself and Kat Osterman. And Kat, what a special year it was last year. Rinse and repeat. Texas hopes to do it again this year.
Yeah, Texas going for the back-to-back national championships if they can, but 2025 was a record-setting year, most wins in a season for any team in program history, and that was a long-standing record. Offensively, the output continued to improve, and just Texas really took it to them, but they are looking. They've taken the field already one weekend this year, but they are looking to make a statement here at home. Yeah,
the cupboard is far from bare. 4 of the 7 all-SEC honorees from a year ago are back for the Burnt Orange and White this year. That was the 3rd time in the last 4 years. Remember, Texas was in the final series in Oklahoma City. For the first time, they were the last team standing as Mike White and company able to lift the title and bring it back to the 40 acres. Of course, Reese Atwood among those all-everything returners. Last year, we saw her as just a junior set the new standard for career RBI. And last weekend at the UTSA Classic, ultimately launched that 58th long ball to tie Taylor Hoagland, who had been sitting all by herself atop the home run standing since 2013.
Yeah, Reese Atwood eyeing to be the sole member of holding that home run record, looking to do it here at home, as you mentioned, after tying it down the road in San Antonio. But the senior looking to continue her onslaught of the record books. Offensively, almost every record will be Reese Atwood's before she leaves here.
Second straight year that Joe Coons brings her Wildcats of Abilene Christian to town. Not a lot of familiar faces from the women we saw in the Diamond last year. 9 freshmen, 6 transfers. Just 8 returners for the ACU group that ultimately is picked to finish 6th in the Western Athletic Conference this year. It's a nice weekend last weekend for Emerson Meggards, who will be scheduled to bat 6th in this lineup for the former Utah State Aggie Joe Coons.
Yeah, Joe Coons talking to us about having so many youngsters and so many returners, youngsters and so many versatile athletes. Talking about how she can throw out a number of different athletes in different positions each inning. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out today as she continues to figure out which pieces make the best puzzle for the Wildcats.
All right, so we can talk all about last year, but for Hannah Wells, she's part of a freshman class who arrives in Austin looking for their first national championship. They saw their current teammates on TV enjoying the good times in OKC, trying to pave her own path now. She will get the home opening start here tonight.
Hannah Wells got some action in opening weekend, but she's going to hit the upper 60s. She has a drop ball that she relies on, a rise ball, off-speed curve, but command is going to be the key. She's going to have to work ahead and stay ahead. Last weekend, a lot of times her trouble fell in being able to falling behind in counts and giving the hitters the advantage. But there's one thing, Hannah Wells is the reigning National Gatorade Player of the Year, the best player in the country coming out of high school, and Texas looking to her here in the home opener to make a statement.
Getting out of Coahoma, Texas. She will be a 2-way player for the Longhorns. Launched her first home run last week in San Antonio. And again, gets the starting nod tonight. Of course, Texas does return the talented junior in Tegan Cavan. We expect to see her get her first starting nod tomorrow in part of a doubleheader for the Longhorns here in the Bevo Classic. Tiana Arguijo will lead things off for the Wildcats. The Wildcats struck first last year here in Austin in the second inning to take a 1-0 lead. It was a tied game until the 5th, 1-1, when the Longhorns would finally open it up and win in a 6-inning run rule affair against Abilene Christian. But Arguijo, pretty close to a homegrown product here in the Austin area. Her hometown of Round Rock is now the home of a professional softball franchise, the Volts, and the AUSL.
That it is. We are excited to bring pro softball to Central Texas. Bring Longhorn great, national championship champion herself, Mia Scott, back to Texas.
Yeah, Mia Scott enjoying something that you did not have the luxury of staying close to home for her pro career. Over to the left side, that's J.C. Nichols across the diamond to Katie Stewart. For the Texas Texas infield getting the first out, retiring Argijo. So if you're going to be a national champion, there can be very few bumps along the way. Every little thing needs to go right, and yet last year Mike White loses his starting shortstop before the start of the season, Vivi Martinez. Good report, she is back 100%, all set to go here in 2026.
Well, she is back and really anchors that left side. As you mentioned, JC Nichols, who just made the first play of the game, a freshman. Coach Mike White talks to us. We may see Matea Lawson there at some points during season as well. But Vivi Martinez, her experience, just her range. She hasn't missed a beat. Looked great opening weekend. Range at shortstop, being able to hit all the things she has picked up where she left off a year and a half ago.
That ball takes a funny spin, ultimately land good. With Martinez back at short, able to shift to the other side of second base defensively this year, and good. Able to get it over to Katie Stewart in plenty of time.
Catcher number 10, Valerie Ornelas.
So Hannah Wells retires the first two Wildcats she sees. Last year, it was Cam Salmon who pitched the complete game, 6-inning victory for Texas. That was a career best for her. Again, tonight it's Hannah Wells in the circle, trying to go 3 up, 3 down against the top third of the order of Abilene Christian. For Jo Coons, this was a pleasant surprise. She thought last year would be Valerie Ornelas' last year for the Wildcats. Ornelas stayed on campus, starting to work in the athletics department back in the fall, when all of a sudden they realized she would be given an extra year. But ultimately, the infield prevails for Texas. A couple of ground downs to the right side. 3 ground ball outs from Hannah Wells in her start. When we come back, the top third of the order for Texas. Longhorns, that prolific attack last year, 3rd in the nation across Division I softball, producing 486 runs. So many of those runs coming via jog around the base paths with the power surge we saw from this Longhorn lineup. Katie Stewart, Reese Atwood among those responsible. Of course, they are back. They're still looking to fill those shoes of Mia Scott this year in the lineup, but look at the top 5 of this order for Mike White in the home opener, all of them returners from last year's national championship.
Well, all returners, all very experienced. Really, in this lineup, only 2 athletes who are brand new to college softball. You're talking Katie Bennett in this 8-hole, also part of that national championship roster.
There are only 2 active players in Division I softball entering this year with more career hits than Ashton Maloney. And mind you, she did a lot of her damage in the 9-hole last year, where she led the entire SEC in RBIs for Texas batters. She moves to the top spot. Get a few more cuts throughout this year.
Yeah, Ashton Maloney started her career in the 9-hole, and Coach White and even Coach Singleton talking about just how much she was on base, how quick she was, made the change, got more at-bats. But the senior has probably been one of the more underrated weapons in Texas offense, just with how she sets the table, how many pitches she sees in an at-bat. Coach White will joke that she likes to hit out of the 0-2 count, but she just sees a lot of pitches, which allows other people in the offense to be able to see what a pitcher has. Really a great leadoff hitter, and someone Texas is going to need to continue to set the table if they're going to make a run this year.
She's facing Wildcat starter in the circle, Leah Meyer, here tonight. Meyer, a junior college All-American last year. And Meyer's getting close to throwing as many pitches as her counterpart, Hannah Wells, did for the entire top half of this inning. See, coming over from Florida Southwestern, her coach there was a former Jo Coons disciple. As that network has started to grow, Leah Meyer played for Camille Corona, former UTA player, Jo Coons' previous stop as an assistant coach.
Longhorn fans will recognize that name as well. Camille played 3 years here at Texas before graduating and going to UTA as a grad assistant. But here we see Meyer's going to be in the low 60s, a drop change, and when she really has that change on, it can keep hitters off balance. Coach Coons called her the quiet competitor. You're not going to see her get fired up. You're not going to see a ton of talking, but she will go out there and compete.
Well, when it's all said and done, a full count walk for Ashton Maloney to set the table here. That'll give way to somebody who has drawn comparisons to Mia Scott much of her career, Kaden Henry. Already off to a great start, hitting .368 to begin her junior campaign with 3 extra base hits last weekend. Chance for two for the Wildcats. They'll settle for the lead out, retiring Maloney on the fielder's choice.
Well, interesting enough, after the walk to Ashton Maloney, Caden Henry attacking the first pitch. Not a bad idea if you're on time, you can stay through, but also not a bad idea to force the pitcher to throw a few more pitches and prove that she can stay around the strike zone.
Well, Leanne Good played her best softball on the biggest stage, as already a stolen base for Caden Henry. Caden was 33 steals on 35 attempts last year in her sophomore campaign when she would be second team all-conference. Another look.
Caden Henry, a great jump, and she just has elite speed. Made the state track meet when she was in high school, so elite runner.
Already her 6th stolen base on 6 tries this year, with 5 last weekend in San Antonio. Good shows bunt. Caden Henry able to take third. So after reaching on the fielder's choice, Caden Henry puts herself in scoring position, and now a wild pitch or pass ball away, potentially from giving Texas a lead.
She didn't even give us a second. I was about to say, just watch her from second to third. A lot of times likes to delay steal on the pitcher and the catcher, but reads change up there and takes the extra base herself.
See if Leanne Good can bring her home. The 0-2 from Leah Meyer. Leanne, the San Antonio native, a little bit of a homecoming last weekend. Her mom played for UTSA. What a great job they did down there last weekend. All those top 25 programs in town. Texas went 3-1 against top 25 competition opening weekend.
You know, it never fails. We had it all queued up to have a picture of Leanne being Batgirl, had her mom's records, and then she got hurt the game before they played UTSA, so we didn't get to put it all into fruition, but you could tell Leanne Good was extremely excited to be back home, play in front of her friends and family, and at a place that her mom played.
Good works from an 0-2 hole, now a full count, 3-2 with Caden Henry on third base. Meyer delivers, and Good just protects herself, fighting that one off. 15 base hits for Leanne Good in last year's postseason alone. Really one of the breakthrough stars, beginning with the Super Regional and beyond.
Texas needed her to be able to step up. People were going to be careful with Reese and Katie Stewart. Leanne Good did her job, being able to not just provide consistency, but power in the most important moments too.
Leanne Good will put a charge into this one, back to the center field wall, it's gone. The pride of San Antonio, the first to touch them all here at McCombs in this 2026 campaign. It's Texas up 2-0. Already her third of the year.
Well, we saw her waste the changeup, and so she knows something hard's coming. This is over the plate. She drops her barrel head. I don't even know if she really gets all of that one, but strong enough to get that out. Dead center field. First big hit for Texas here at home.
Doesn't get any easier for Leah Meyer, of course. That'll give way to the cleanup hitter for Texas, Reese Atwood, who was healthy for the UTSA game and took advantage, launching the 58th home run of her career, tying her with Taylor Hoagland, who set the mark back in 2013. One of Atwood's biggest moments might have been a swing and a miss in Oklahoma City, when she intentionally chased a bad pitch to allow her to advance and keep a game alive on a drop third strike.
Whatever it takes, right? Clearly the mindset too, when you go up and they're intentionally walking you and you swing at what should be an intentional base on balls.
Yes, it's swing and miss. Pardon me. Obviously got a piece of it. We'll fight this one foul. 2-1. Last year, first team All-American. Was National Catch of the Year. Receiver of the Johnny Bench Award. She's your National Player of the Week coming off last weekend. And if she hadn't gotten it, there's a good chance the player in the batter's circle there, Katie Stewart, might have been a candidate for SEC Player of the Week and National Player of the Week.
Yeah, Reese with the 500 average, but Katie Stewart belted out 4 home runs last weekend. Not really sure where that changeup missed by Meyer right there. It is a drastic change of speeds. The only downfall is it almost allows the hitter time to regroup. So we saw Leanne Good, even though she got ahead of it, able to hold back and then waste it before she hit her home run.
3-1 from Meyer. Count goes full. 3 batters out of the 4 that Meyer has seen have worked the count full here in the first. In moments ago, 2-run home run from Leanne Good to score Caden Henry as Texas strikes first here tonight. The payoff pitch to Atwood. Second free pass of the inning for Leah Meyer. Of course, Mike White. Boy, it takes a long time to rattle off his impressive resume. Thankfully, after last year, all we have to say is national champion.
He finally broke through, and you talked to him and you said, you know, what does it feel like? He's like, woke up the next day and had to go right back to work because the portal was open, recruiting was started. Anyone who wasn't in Oklahoma City was already starting to get out on the trails, so he's excited about it. He said sometimes it doesn't feel real. Like, he has to ask, like, did that really happen?
In 9 years at Oregon, this is already his 8th year at Texas. Mike White, 15 straight years entering this year, has led his team to the Super Regionals or beyond. Here's Katie Stewart with Reese Atwood, the runner on first, and 1 out still. This will be a fun weekend for Katie. Her sister Dee Dee's in town with Northern Illinois. They'll play each other on Sunday. Again, Mike White in excess of 300 wins now at Texas, over 750 in his career. 1-1 to Stewart. That's a fair ball off the glove of Lepardo into left. Atwood will go from first to third. And Katie Stewart will find herself in scoring position as well, standing on second.
Katie Stewart just a little bit ahead of this over top, but gets the high hop, and with Lepardo playing back, that hop off her glove, and that allows extra bases for Stewart and Reese Atwood.
Yeah, it is a double for Katie Stewart. Remember, this inning began with Ashton Maloney being walked. Maloney's the only Longhorn who's been retired after the ground ball from Caden Henry. And Good's 2-run blast has Texas up 2, and they're looking for more here in the first inning, facing Leah Meyer.
A big change in the lineup from last weekend to this weekend is Leanne Good moving into that 3rd spot. Coach White opened weekend putting Matea Lawson there. He likens her to a more aggressive Mia Scott, likes to swing early in the count. He also put Vivi Martinez up there, which she's very familiar with that spot early in her career. But with the power that Leanne Good keeps showing, why have her down in 7, 8, 9 when if Caden Henry or Ashton Maloney are on, you can get the double-digit home run.
Vivi Martinez, no signs of rust last weekend. Hit .357 starting 4 of the 5 games for the Longhorns, back from that injury that kept her out all of last year. With a base hit here, could very well double the lead for Texas.
Probably wasn't if there is a good time, a better time for Vivi Martinez to tear her knee, which tore in October, so she had a fall to strengthen, surgery, rehab. She was actually back on the field practicing with Texas in the spring. They knew she wasn't going to come back, but she was back in there with her brace, and then she got the knee brace off in January. And you watch her play, she hasn't missed a beat, truly. And being able to play without the knee brace is just the confidence in yourself and being able to plant, rotate, all the things.
2 in scoring position for Martinez, and Vivi will get this one to drop down in center. 2 more Longhorns will come home, play at the plate, not in time. As a 2-run single for Vivi Martinez, who will take an extra 60 feet.
Got a glimpse of a fan has a fat head of Vivi Martinez in there. But Meyer trying to go on the inner half. She's just over the plate too much, and the changeup isn't really fooling Texas, especially late in the at-bat. Great job of Vivi Martinez driving in 2 here early in this game.
So Jo Koons will make her way to the pitcher's circle. She only returns 1 pitcher from last year's team, Ella Beeman. Everybody else new to this pitching rotation for Abilene Christian. And while Texas worked a 3-up, 3-down top of the first, in which freshman pitcher Hannah Wells only needed to throw 7 pitches, Texas has battled at the plate, making Leah Meyer work for it. So far, just still 1 out to show here in the bottom half of the first inning. Again, in terms of positives from last year, ACU able to make it to the WAC softball tournament for the first time since 2022. Speaking of Hannah Wells, again, 2-way player. Here's the bottom third of the order for Texas. Vivi Martinez, the lone base runner left for the Burnt Orange.
Well, as efficient as Hannah Wells was in the circle, her bat and defensive game at first base might be as impressive. Coach White quick to say, hey, when she's at first base, she is a solid first baseman. It's not like we're just sticking someone over there.
She and JC Nichols are the 2 freshmen getting starts tonight in the bottom third of the order for the Longhorns. We saw 4 freshmen getting their first career starts last weekend in San Antonio against Nebraska, Washington, and UTSA. Vivi Martinez on second after her 2-run base hit doubled the lead for Texas. See if the bottom third of the order can produce as well for Mike White's Longhorns.
We saw Jo Koons go out there and talk to Leah Meyer, and have to imagine the conversation was talking about getting ahead. Throw strikes early, try to keep them off balance early. Her changeup 1 right now, when you're facing elite hitters, after they see it once, unless it has some downward movement, or as we talk about an off-speed curveball with some pitchers, you're not going to fool the hitter if you have to throw it 2 and 3 times with as slow as it is. So she needs to work ahead and be able to use that changeup either to set up her out pitch or as her out pitch.
Wells will lay off that one. And on the dropped pitch, Vivi Martinez moves down to third. And that's the veteran Valerie Ornelas completing the battery with Leah Meyer. Talk about Leah Meyer's intro from junior college All-American to being a Division I pitcher this year. Pitched against the Aggies in College Station last weekend. The Longhorns defending national champions here tonight. Payoff pitch to Wells. This will not get down fair, as the count will stay full.
There's 2 ways coaches usually help pitchers come along. You're either thrown to the fire, or they kind of baby you and let you get some innings here and there and get your feet wet. And Jo Koons taking Leah Meyer and saying, hey, you've already competed at a high level. Let's go ahead and get out there, see what you're made of, learn some things. So hopefully by conference, there's adjustments that are in the favor of the Wildcats.
Again, the payoff pitch, and again, it's fouled. 4 straight Longhorns have reached with 1 out. ACU looking for that elusive second out. No traditional threat of a double play ball here. Katie Bennett on deck. JC Nichols, again, part of this brilliant freshman class, scheduled to bat third this inning. Again, the 3-2. And that time in a battle of pitcher versus pitcher, Leah Meyer gets the strikeout for that elusive second out here in the first inning.
That's a nice changeup by Leah Meyer. She threw this for strike 2. It was just higher in the zone, so this time she keeps it down at the knees, but you can tell Hannah Wells not on time with that. Big strikeout for Leah Meyer.
Gives way to an even stronger Katie Bennett than we saw last year. Mike White has seen her pack a little bit more of a punch in her swing than in years past. Of course, she started at Abilene Christian before coming over to the 40 Acres. It was just about an everyday starter last year. Second pitch she sees, chance to get out of the inning. Arguijo just won't be able to get under it in time.
Texas really benefited from Katie Bennett transferring over. She went in the portal, had dreams of fulfilling what, if you talk to her, she says little Katie Bennett wanted to do. She was originally committed to Oklahoma State out of high school, ended up decommitting, not playing softball for a while. There's a lot more that goes into that story, but ended up playing at Commerce and then ACU, and then wanted to say, hey, you know what, I know I can play at the top level. I'm going to go try it out. Texas benefited, and Katie Bennett benefited in the fact when Vivi Martinez went down, they had a utility player. Had she not transferred, second base would have been a big question mark, but Katie Bennett able to come in and truly fill that hole for Texas last year.
And back-to-back strikeouts for Leah Meyer as she ultimately faces 8 Longhorn hitters in the bottom of the first, 4 of whom come home to score, including the first 2 on the home run blast from Leanne Good. Her 3rd already of the young campaign.
Already up 4-0 over the Abilene Wildcats early in this game, but Texas already showing their prowess on both sides of the ball. And last season, Lincoln, pitching was the key to Texas' success, anchored by Tegan Cavan, who we see there, heading out to the bullpen. But second ERA, strikeouts per 7 innings, strikeout to walk ratio, all the things. Texas was solid in the circle, and Coach White has talked to us. He's still looking to figure out who his number 2 is going to be this year, but a tall task to live up to those pitching numbers.
Hannah Wells, the freshman, again gets the start here in the home opener. We expect we'll see plenty of Tegan Cavan this weekend. Again, tonight's the first of 6 games for Texas here at home over the next 4 days. Doubleheaders tomorrow and on Sunday against Ohio State and Syracuse. Northern Illinois will also be in town. Longhorns will see those Huskies on Sunday. So Jaden Dawson, Ariana Hampton, and Emerson Meggers, the minimum 3 due up here in the second inning to face Hannah Wells for the first time. Wells on 7 pitches, got 3 ground ball outs in that first inning. ACU had 2 hits in that 6-inning loss against Texas last year. Again, Cam Salmon went the distance.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple different arms here tonight.
Count 2-2. Joe Coons loves Jaden Dawson, a product out of Plano East High School. The freshman, real spark plug for this group. Helps unite the locker room. Takes a lot of confidence for a freshman to come in and be vocal immediately. poise as she faces the Texas freshman in the circle to work the count full.
When you're a freshman and coming into a program like Texas, not just known in name, but obviously coming off the national championship, as you mentioned, it's easy to be timid.
Dawson breaks through with the first base hit for Abilene Christian. It comes here in the top half of the second inning.
But Hannah Wells knows who she is and what she possesses, so comes in and, as Coach White says, confidence from the freshman. There you see she's saying that pitch was just up a little bit too much. But Hannah Wells very aware of who she is as a player, as an athlete, as a person, and she's not afraid to come in and speak, but also, hey, when they give her the ball, say, let's go.
Here's Ariana Garcia. Freshman out of Clear Springs High School from the League City area. They think she might be a source of power this year. Tonight batting in the 5-hole. Quick turnaround for Abilene Christian. They hosted a doubleheader yesterday in Abilene. We're making their way down to Austin for this weekend's contests, as they hosted South Dakota State for the Twin Bill less than 24 hours ago. Garcia, that one just wide of first base. Of course, the double bag is back this year.
Permanently. It has been permanently placed in play for both regular season and postseason.
And it's orange this year. I thought it was odd last year. Maybe I'm thinking baseball. Baylor had an orange bag and Texas had a green bag. I didn't know if maybe the shipping got mixed up.
Yeah, that's a little different.
That'll be hopefully the least important thing I say all weekend. Garcia down on strikes.
Well, after Garcia puts a charge and a couple foul balls, Hannah Wells mixes. This is the off-speed curve, tailing a little bit up and away, but a slower speed. Garcia unable to adjust to that. Good strikeout by the freshman.
So again, Jaden Dawson on first after her leadoff single. Here's Emerson Meggers. Hit .417 last weekend, all 5 of her hits, extra base hits. And her versatility, she can play defensively anywhere in the infield for Joe Coons. She gets the start at second here tonight. Meggers started at Utah State. Of course, that's where Joe Coons played collegiately as a shortstop. The 2-0 from Hannah Wells, 2-1. Our home plate umpire, by the way, William Lopez Pillow. Our first base umpire, Analia Marisi, and Bobby DeMaio out in the field as well. 2-0 right side. Katie Stewart thought about attempting the double play, but will take the out at first, 2 away. As Dawson moves into scoring position now.
Smart heads-up play there by Katie Stewart. Going to have to throw a little bit across the runner because Vivi Martinez wasn't going to have time to get the backside of the bag. At the same time, though, you're up 4-0. You don't necessarily need to get the lead out in this situation.
Yeah, that's why she was an academic All-American last year.
Do it in the classroom and on the field.
And the batter hit by pitch on the left knee, so Savannah Crocker will make her way down to first next to Katie Stewart. Kat, did you know that there's a Hall of Fame for academic All-Americans?
You know, Lincoln, I learned about that last summer.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a quick but fun trip to Orlando. And I was definitely, how do you put it, the least smart of the class that got in.
But that's such an impressive vocabulary you summed it up with. Here's Kiana Lepardo in the 8-hole. San Antonio native in her first year of college softball. She went to East Central High School. As Atwood with the throw down to Stewart. 2 runners on for the Wildcats. A leadoff single for Jaden Dawson. 2 outs later, Savannah Crocker was hit by pitch. as Abilene Christian trailing Texas 4-0 here in the second inning. And Lepardo able to lay off that one.
And Wells hammering that outer half. We saw her go drop and get Lepardo to chase. Tried to go up in the zone there, but Lepardo able to lay off.
Loses her bat. She'll be down on strikes. And that will end the threat from Abilene Christian. They strand 2 against Hannah Wells, who has worked through 2 complete innings of shutout softball in the home opener so far. Texas looking to give her more insurance in the home half. Well, it was a winner-take-all Game 3 between Texas and Texas Tech last year in Oklahoma City, and Texas took all. First national championship in this storied program's history. They had that celebration back at the start of the summer to let fans come out and welcome home the players, but tonight officially unveiling the permanent banner out there below the scoreboard. It wasn't without adversity. Remember, Clemson had them on the ropes here in Austin in that super regional. And of course, Texas Tech very much had many people believing that Nigel Kennedy and company were going to be taking the title to Lubbock at various points in that 3-game series.
Yeah, twice Texas almost looked like they weren't going to be advancing to Oklahoma City, as you mentioned, but able to prevail. And I really think you talk to Coach White, he talks about it. That adversity is what allowed them to get to the World Series and say, hey, we've overcome this, we've been able to pull together and get things done at different times. Really feels like that is what set them up to make the run there at the Women's College World Series.
Michaela Valle is your new pitcher for ACU here in the second inning, the transfer from Lamar. Of course, Lamar over there in Beaumont. She is facing Texas freshman J.C. Nichols, who is at the plate for the first time in her young career now in front of her new home crowd. So laying off the 3-0 in there for a strike. Of course, Texas' reward for surviving and getting through the SEC last year was, it felt like a SEC tournament all over again in Oklahoma City, as going up against 3 SEC foes. In fact, 5 of the 8 teams again in Oklahoma City last year were from the SEC. Big Ten had 2, and Big 12 with Tech had the other. And the 9-hole hitter, J.C. Nichols, with a walk. First walk for the Longhorns since Ashton Maloney walked last inning. Speaking of Ashton Maloney, she'll come up with a runner on and nobody out.
Right fielder number 7, Ashton Maloney.
Second team All-SEC last year, was also all defensive team, did not commit an error in the outfield throughout the entirety of last season. Leah Meyer got the start tonight. Michaela Valle now here in the second inning. And the circle for Abilene Christian. Runner going down to second, a great jump. They're not going to get her even with a perfect throw. J.C. Nichols is in.
Fun part of Texas offense this year, they have more speed. Once they realized Mia Scott's knee situation, she stopped stealing bases as much, but Coach White likens J.C. Nichols' savviness on the bases to Mia Scott. He said she'll deke some people into throwing behind her. She'll go extra bases on certain defensive plays because she knows she can. But going to be an exciting season to be able to watch Texas run a little bit more.
Nichols now 3 for 3 in her young career in stolen bases. Of course, she's in that 9-hole that Ashton Maloney occupied so much of last year with great success. Maloney's bunt effort a moment ago will send the count to 2-1. Maloney already with her undergraduate degree, as you see reflected on that sleeve of hers. It says SEC graduate.
Remember, Ashton Maloney actually redshirted her freshman year, tore her knee the summer before enrolling at Texas. She took that freshman year as a red shirt, started her career with Leanne Goods, Sitlali Gutierrez, Vivi Martinez, who is now redshirted and is going to be a year behind them. But that freshman class that really came on the scene in the most impactful way.
A couple of Longhorn arms just getting warm in that bullpen. We saw Tegan Gavon being one of them about an inning ago. Should get to see most of the Texas pitching staff over these 4 days, 6 games. One we won't see is Mac Morgan, who's already begun her coaching career down at UTSA. They call her Coach Natty.
But rightfully so.
Punched out towards left. They had her scouted well. Arguijo only takes a couple of strides forward, and there's your first down.
When we talk about Texas pitching and Coach Mike White wondering who the number 2 is going to be, a lot of times throughout the 3 years Mac Morgan was on the 40 acres, she wasn't necessarily the number 2, but the staff always knew what they were going to get from her. She was so consistent, and Coach White said that. He was like, we're going to miss the fact that when we put Mac Morgan out there, we know what we're going to get. We're going to get ground balls. We're going to get a competitor every single day. So looking for that person who's going to come in and be the steady presence whenever they need a big start or a big relief moment.
After stealing second a couple of pitches ago, Nichols able to advance down to third. As Caden Henry reached on that fielder's choice last inning, of course, came home on the home run from Leanne Good. See if Henry can put a 5th run on the board. Caden, a .409 hitter last year, 30 RBI with 4 home runs along the way. Infield in. We would welcome a chance to make a play at the plate. Two-one from Valle.
Similar to Meyer, Valle just coming in and throwing a lot of pitches to where Texas can see everything she has to offer as they're on deck.
Henry underneath this one. Not likely deep enough to score the run. And Texas is not going to test the arm of Ari Maxwell, who was basically standing on the infield dirt. 2-1.
Nice change of speeds by Valle. She throws a change up there, and Kate Henry out in front.
Gives way to Leanne Good, who gave Texas the lead last inning. Nichols led off this inning with that walk. 2 outs later, she's standing on third, hoping Good can bring her home. Mike White continues to handle the third base coach's box responsibilities with the Texas offense.
I think there were a lot of questions when he hired Aaron Earlywine to replace Steve Singleton, who left for the head coaching job at Cal, on whether Mike would stay in the third base box or not. Aaron Earlywine was in the third base box for Ole Miss last year as they had their offensive record-breaking year as well as the run to Oklahoma City. But you ask Coach White and he says, you know, we leave Aaron in there so he can give the hitters kind of the last words of what the plan is, of what they should be looking at. So he's kind of the offensive mind, giving hitters their plan and their words of encouragement.
That was Ole Miss's first trip to the Women's College World Series. As Good fights off the 2-1 to even up the count. Of course, Earlywine, former head coach at Missouri, led them to the Women's College World Series on 3 occasions.
You see the new addition to the staff. Known throughout the softball community just for his offensive brilliance, his ability to pick pitches. Coach White said he might be better at picking pitches than Coach White is. So they have 2 people on staff watching pitchers to see if they can find tendencies. But I thought opening day for Texas, having been able to see that game, their game plan and their execution was top-notch.
Wildcats just need 1, and they're able to strand J.C. Nichols, who led off the inning with a walk, advanced a couple of bases, but no damage done. Wildcats trailing still by just 4 heading into the third. Ranked Texas Longhorns as Texas put up 4 in the first, scoreless in the second. Jo Coons, after her first year as head coach at Abilene Christian, didn't have an off season. She was an assistant coach on the eventual league champions, the Talons, in the AUSL season.
AUSL kicked off its inaugural season, barnstorming around the country. Championships were in Tuscaloosa and anchored by Montana Founts. Jo Coons, an assistant on that staff, and talking with her, she was so excited about the opportunity. She's like, anytime you're around elite athletes, you have a chance to learn what they do, what makes them elite, what continues to allow them to have success. And the biggest thing she said she took away from her time with the Talons was how selfless the athletes on the Talons were. It didn't matter who was up to bat, pitchers, it didn't matter which one of them got the ball in the circle. They were all cheering for each other, just selfless and being invested in the team winning. And she was like, that selflessness is what I brought back and have trying to instill in my Wildcats.
She got to wear green, taking us back to her Oregon coaching days, but she looks good in purple. Does there happen to be a team that wears purple, Kat, in the league?
You know, there does happen to be a team that wears purple, and it happens to be in Texas.
Just up the road in Round Rock, as that'll be the home of the Volts this year. Juju Martinez in the 9-hole, the lone starter that's yet to come to the plate until now to face tonight's starter for Texas, Hannah Wells. Lincoln Rose along with Volts general manager Kat Osterman. You've got a pretty good head coach in Texas State's Ricky Woodard.
Excited to bring her into the league, and as we said, bring the Volts to Round Rock. Let Texas have their first pro softball. Well, I shouldn't say first. It's not their first. We've had one in Houston and Dallas, but first AUSL team.
She just missed Mike White in Eugene, Oregon, as they were both Ducks at various points in their past life. So Martinez at the plate, then the top of the order for ACU to face freshman pitcher Hannah Wells, who's swinging a bat tonight and in the circle. Martinez last year was 0 for 3 against Texas pitching, as Wells able to retire the leadoff hitter.
Well, despite some control issues, Wells has been able to close the door on these hitters. This a nice drop ball outside. Martinez cannot catch up to. Good little down tick in the zone on that pitch.
Third strikeout for Wells. Now back to the top of the order for a second time for the Wildcats. Here's Arguijo, who grounded out to the left side in that quick 3-up, 3-down first inning where Hannah got 3 ground ball outs on just 7 pitches. Arguijo, a former Rouse High School Raider in the Round Rock area, over there in Leander ISD. If she can get on base, Jo Coons dubs her an agent of chaos. See if she can reach with 1 out here.
See Hannah Wells continuing to just hammer that outside corner, that drop arm side. Runs away a little bit from time to time, which is what gets her in a little bit of trouble.
Over the left side, snagged by Nichols. Meet your new third baseman, JC Nichols. Fires one over to Katie Stewart to a win.
With the speed of Arguijo, I'm not sure that if this gets through, it's not a base hit, but JC Nichols, good placement, good reach, a nice controlled throw on the run. But the freshman, she has range, she has speed. Right now, holding her own there at third base.
And she and Matea Lawson will both get chances at third. We've also seen Lawson in the middle of the infield. You have to like what you see out of Nichols so far. So first 2 batters retired, Juju Martinez and Sienna Arguijo. Here's Ari Maxwell, who grounded out to the right side back in the first inning. Sophomore from Edmond, Oklahoma. And they like her balance of power and speed. The 1-1 from Wells with 2 outs and nobody on.
Wells starting to really find her groove, that drop ball on the arm side. Starting to paint the corner and drop. That one tucked in nicely to Maxwell.
Got her. 4th strikeout for Hannah Wells. 3 shutout innings in her first career start in front of the Texas crowd here on the 40 acres.
Well, Hannah Wells mixing speeds. She's able to strike out Maxwell for out number 3. Texas coming to the plate.
Almost half of Reese Atwood's career base hits at Texas have been extra base hits. 58 times they have cleared the outfield wall. She is tied with Taylor Hoagland as of last weekend atop the home run career charts for the Longhorns program. She leads off here in the 3rd inning with her Longhorns up on Abilene Christian 4-0. It'll be Atwood, Stewart, and Martinez, the minimum 3 due up to face Michaela Valle. Reese walked back in the 1st inning. She scored the 3rd of the 4 runs.
I will say, after watching last weekend, the one stat on that slab and runs scored, because oftentimes she'll get pinch run for, she is very much vying for running for herself. And I will say she stole a base last weekend and she looked fast. So I think she's going to try to up that run scored number.
Yeah, she does not like taking any kind of moment to rest. Earlier in her career, Mike White flirted with maybe having her catch fewer innings, but Reese Atwood wouldn't have anything to do with that. She loves being back there. Obviously, she's a great asset regardless of who is pitching in the circle for Texas. Conversely, a detriment to whoever is pitching for the other team. Atwood will shoot it over left side. Crocker at short. And Reese Atwood retired. 1-1. And a young ACU staff. So much turnover from last year. 2nd year, Joe Coombs at the helm. It is a group that's eager to learn, their head coach says. More versatility on the roster. And they, again, want to be able to use their speed as an asset. Joe Coombs telling us the quote, "Speed never slumps." Right now, they'll try to keep the Longhorns off the base paths. Here's Katie Stewart, who doubled back in the 1st and scored that 4th and final run. That one, a laser down the left field line. It'll be extra bases for Katie Stewart as it gets caught up in the corner. Arguijo finally sends it back in. That is 2 doubles tonight for Katie Stewart.
Katie Stewart absolutely loving that left field line right now. Another one right past Lepardo there at 3rd base. This time not quite as high of a hop, but Katie Stewart pulling the ball with some power.
So again, no Longhorn has crossed home plate since Katie did back in the 1st, thanks to the 2-run single from Vivi Martinez in the 1st. Here is the Longhorn shortstop. A nice job by Ornelas keeping that ball in front of her and keeping Stewart for now on 2nd base. Even when Martinez was out for last year, she was so valuable working with Katie Stewart, working with Leanne Good on their roles, filling in at shortstop.
I love when you talk to athletes who have been injured and they talk about the perspective shift, that all of a sudden they start to understand some things that they do differently when they see other athletes that either can't do it or don't do it as well, and then they have to teach them how. At the same time, you start to see the game from a different perspective because you're almost like part of the coaching staff, even though you're not in the decision making of the lineup. So Vivi Martinez, a lot of advantages gained last year.
4-pitch walk to Martinez. She's on for a 2nd time tonight. So 2 aboard with 1 out, giving way to, again, tonight's starting pitcher for Texas, Hannah Wells.
Pitcher number 13, Hannah Wells.
Well, early in season, watch for Coach White. Occasionally he will pinch run for Vivi Martinez while she is full go. Sliding is one thing that she hasn't done a whole lot of. We did see her slide a few times opening weekend, but they will try to take her out of situations where the knee might be an issue.
Hannah gets underneath this one, back towards the wall, and the pitcher has just helped her own cause. A 3-out blast for the freshman. Insurance off the bat of Hannah Wells.
As we said, the freshman, a true two-way player. National Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of high school because of what she does on both sides of the ball. First pitch she sees, that one's right in the zone. She attacks hard. Hannah Wells, have yourself a home opener.
She has 2 career hits. They have both involved her running all the way around the bases and celebrating with teammates. Bennett tries to poke one out towards right, won't escape the infield. Meggers has it for out number 2.
There are times, Lincoln, when athletes, freshmen come into college softball and everyone says they're a two-way player, but then you don't see them hit a lot, or you don't see them hit and play in the field. Coach White talking about how versatile Hannah Wells is, and he says she's going to have to figure out either how to be in our lineup, or if we have somebody else in, I'm going to need her to be able to pinch hit. She is going to be utilized offensively.
Again, Wells, one of the 2 freshmen in the lineup. Here's the other one, JC Nichols, who walked and stole a base to lead off last inning, but would be left stranded on third. See what she can do here with nobody on and 2 outs. Playable on the left side. Shortstop's ball, and Crocker has it. So there's your 3rd out, but not before Hannah Wells brings a bat to the plate and brings 2 teammates home on her 3-run home run here in the 3rd. We'll see Hannah back in the circle defending a 7-run lead. Today, a pitcher's best friend is an inning double play, but Hannah Wells might very well be her own best friend.
Well, when you're a two-way player, you have the ability to impact the game on both sides of the ball, and tonight, Hannah Wells doing just that, stifling Abilene Christian, just 1 hit given up, and have yourself a night. A little 3-run home run over left field wall for Hannah Wells.
She and Leanne Good have both gone deep tonight, and of course that now gives her a 7-run lead against Abilene Christian. 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Wildcats. Here's Valerie Ornelas. We mentioned getting an extra year of eligibility after she had already resigned herself to thinking her career was over until coach approached her this past fall when there was an injury on the Wildcats roster and asked if Valerie might consider 1 more year. I don't think it took her long to accept.
I mean, if someone came to me and said, hey, you have 1 more year to play, I think I would have jumped and said, of course. Who wants to go in the real world when you can play college softball?
I think right now every coach in the country is appealing to the NCAA for Kat to get 1 more year. They have all sorts of NIL offers for you, Kat. Ornelas down on strikes. 0 for 2 tonight against Wells. So many pitchers emerge from high school just trying to show off their power, but location is so critical, isn't it, for these young pitchers?
It really is, and just regardless of who you're playing, you should be trying to make sure the spot you're hitting is almost as small as possible, so that way you can be on target in the strike zone.
Jaden Dawson has the lone hit tonight for ACU. That was a leadoff single in the 2nd. She would be one of 2 base runners left on the bases that inning. The 1-1 from Wells. Fouled back in the glove of Reese Atwood. 1-2.
Wells now starting to really have command of that drop. It's starting knee height. You see it coming down out of the zone. Abilene Christian unable to lay off it, but also a good lane on the plate. Earlier it was drifting off the plate a little bit. Now she's really commanding that over the corner and at a good height.
Fans who have come out on this Thursday evening, we're ready to give Hannah Wells her 6th strikeout in this home opener. That one not tempting, count goes full. To the cleanup hitter, Jaden Dawson.
And that one got away from her just a little bit.
And 5 strikeouts. No free passes as of yet, 1 hit allowed. Pardon me, there was 1 hit batter, Savannah Crocker. Martinez hit short, routine.
Designated player number 11, Mariana Garcia.
So with 2 outs, nobody on, that gives way to the DP in the 5-hole, Ariana Garcia. Was the first of the 5 strikeout victims tonight for Wells. First pitch she sees, back to Wells. She can pitch, swing a bat, and defend her own circle. A 3-up, 3-down inning for Wells. Texas will look to push the lead further in the home half of the 4th. At the preseason poll for the SEC, no controversy there. Texas, the defending national champions. Of course, before that, Oklahoma with a parade of titles. Your 2 favorites after coming over last year from the Big 12. Lincoln Rose, Kat Osman, great to have you with us. Great to be back at McCombs Field here to kick off this 2026 home slate for Texas. 6 games this weekend against teams from all over the country. And there's a good chance we're one of just 4 games on your screen wherever you're watching right now, as there's a lot of softball to be watched as it lasts the weekend.
Opening weekend kicked off, as you mentioned, the Clearwater Invitational, the biggest tournament outside of postseason. Teams in action all at once, and how do you watch it all if you don't have split screen?
Ashton Maloney walked in the 1st, lined out to left field in the 2nd, leads off here in the 4th. Abilene Christian should set their alarms. They will be the first game tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. This is our only game today of the Bevo Classic. Tomorrow it's ACU and Northern Illinois to get things started. Good chance, again, Katie Stewart might be watching some softball early tomorrow morning. Again, her sister Dee Dee on that Northern Illinois squad. NIU will be in the first 2 games tomorrow.
I have to imagine Katie Stewart will get out here a little early, sit in the stands with her family.
Stewart's from the state of Illinois. Ashton Maloney with her 2nd walk tonight. Texas will play in the last 2 games tomorrow night. As we're going to see our 3rd freshman of the evening, Alyssa Sneed makes her Austin, Texas debut. And the freshman from the Houston area, Conroe. And she will pinch hit for Caden Henry.
Sneed, a true utility player. Coach White will talk to you about her arm, her accuracy from the outfield. She was plugged in to play some 3rd base last weekend as well when JC Nichols slid over to shortstop. So true utility, a right-handed hitter with some power, even though her size a little smaller in stature, but also some speed.
Yeah, you mentioned it. 2 starts last weekend in San Antonio, 1 in left field, 1 at 3rd base. And we've already got some Gold Glove candidates in the crowd. And it's a bigger crowd this season, 300 additional seats added here at McCombs. Let's give you another look.
This ball popped up and into the stand. Oh, she was ready, not on a bounce or anything.
No,
Caught in the air.
2 hands, kids. Well done. Sneed sends this one into the Austin, Texas night. It'll track it down into her glove, our Guillaume. 1 away, and that'll keep Maloney at first. Sneed, the pinch hitter, retired.
It's coming on by other than 3-run home run to Hannah Wells. Done a pretty good job keeping Texas off balance. Quite a few fly balls for her defense to be able to wrangle in, but you can tell working both sides of the plate and that changeup.
Leanne Good, the 2-run home run that got Texas on the board in the first inning. With ground out to end the second, 1 for 2 tonight. Just shy of a 300 hitter last year. Sits back on this one, that's a fair ball. Maloney from first to third, they're gonna send her. Ashton Maloney will score all the way from first on the RBI base hit from Leanne Good, her 3rd RBI tonight.
Valier got ahead of Leanne Good on the inner half, and she throws this pitch there again, and Leanne Good absolutely turns on it. Just sneaks it inside that line down left field. That ball ricocheted actually the opposite direction into the corner away from Arguijo down there. So Ashton Maloney able to score standing up.
All of a sudden, this could be the final inning. Texas brings their bats to the plate before shifting focus to 5 more games this weekend. As the lead is now 8 for the Longhorns.
Number 14, Reese Atwood.
See what Reese Atwood can do with a teammate in scoring position. Program record 89 RBI last year, already the all-time leader in Texas history in runs batted in. And Reese Atwood will add her name atop the record books again. There goes 59. A record-breaking blast off the bat of Reese Atwood. She launches her Longhorn legacy even farther. Reese Atwood, your all-time home run queen here on the 40 acres.
See her parents out there hugging. The senior has absolutely obliterated the power numbers in the record books for Texas. And while this is number 59, this will not be the last one off of Reese Atwood's bat. This pitch up in the zone, and she absolutely demolishes it. And Lincoln, we were talking at break, she swung 3-0 in her second at bat because she saw a pitch she wanted to drive. She was on time, just a little bit over the top, but she gets her curtain call. And Reese Atwood now career RBI leader, career home run leader.
Well, just as Taylor Hoagland, I think Reese is going to have a chance to really establish some breathing room between 1 and 2 on the all-time charts with almost a full season to go. Taylor Hoagland set that mark her junior year. It stood for 13 years. Again, Katie Stewart tonight, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored. And the count 1-1. Moments ago, Reese Atwood claiming the all-time spot in career home runs all to herself here at Texas. Stewart opposite field. Juju Martinez underneath it. Off her fingertips, and Kay Stu never slowed down. She's going to be standing on third. And a head coach is more than happy to dap you up if you're going to show that kind of hustle and run it out.
You watch Texas, the way they run bases in there. Katie Stewart almost to second base before she pulls up just a little bit to make sure it's caught to see what happens, but then turns on the speed again, advances to third on the error. Costly miscue by Abilene Christian.
Thought they had out number 2.
Don't get me wrong, this is sky high, but you can just tell she's not under it all the way, reaching a little bit, and that ball spins out of her glove. Katie Stewart hustles her way all the way to third.
There's at least one fan in attendance tonight who says, I could have made that catch without a glove.
We saw one, yeah, you're right.
Juju didn't do anything wrong. You saw her go up with two hands, just that ball squeezing off the fingertips. Here's Vivi Martinez. 2-run single in the first, a walk and a run scored last inning. She comes up with Katie Stewart 60 feet away. Reese Atwood has already tacked on a 10th run. After Ashley Maloney also scored this inning on Leanne Good's RBI double. Martinez into the gap, ranging back, able to squeeze it in. Maxwell, that will be a sacrifice fly, scoring Katie Stewart, who reached on that 3-base error. Third RBI for Vivi.
And now that error in right field even more costly in the fact it pushed another run across, giving Vivi Martinez the RBI situation.
7th batter this inning is tonight's pitcher for Texas, Hannah Wells. A 3-run home run last inning for Wells. First pitch she sees, shoots it out to Arguijo, but Longhorns tack on 4 more in the 4th and could be 3 outs away from calling it a night here in the home opener.
Well, Texas does it big. Reese Atwood, her 59th career home run. Now the program record sets the tone as Texas looks to close this out.
Here on day 1 of the Bevo Classic, as your catcher Reese Atwood now all by herself ahead of Taylor Hoagland with that 59th home run, with hopefully for the Longhorn Nation more to come.
More to come from Reese Atwood. I have to imagine we'll see Katie Stewart on that list here soon as well.
Hoagland, Stevens, Thom were all teammates. That was a fantastic era. Of course, Blair Luna in the circle. But what Mike White has assembled here has just been incredible in these recent years.
Oh, and Mary Iacopo was only 3 years here at Texas.
Citlali Gutierrez will relieve Hannah Wells, who by all accounts covered herself in glory both offensively and in the circle tonight, the freshman. Gutierrez among your returning pitchers, the senior, former state champion here in Texas when she was at 2A Stanford. She faces the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for ACU, beginning with Emerson Meggers, one of the few returners to the lineup that Texas saw last year. And at this point in the ball game, it was still 1-1. Texas would eventually win in 6 innings on a run rule. Just a second at bat tonight for Meggers, grounded out to the right side back in the 2nd inning. See the numbers last year for the right-hander.
Well, last year, Citlali Gutierrez used a lot in relief. Had some tremendous starts as a sophomore. And I just felt she was her best self when she came out of the pen as a junior. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to mix her into both roles again here as a senior.
Left side, that'll get through. 2nd hit tonight for the Wildcats. And they need at least 4 runs this inning to force Texas to grab their bats in the home half. We mentioned you'll see a variety of faces at third base here early on. This is Matea Lawson, a freshman out of Illinois. Kat, you know her from her travel ball days.
That I do. I coached against Matea Lawson quite a bit. Coach White is not wrong when he talks about how aggressive she is offensively. She has great softball IQ when she's in the box, plays a solid third base.
She got starts last week at third base, 2nd base, and in the DP spot. She's got the glove on at the hot corner here. And pinch hitter for the Wildcats will be Elizabeth Schaefer. Last year she got the start against Texas. Really a breakthrough last year in playing time after limited opportunities her first 2 years. Now her senior campaign, really matchup based when she'll be in the lineup. But they want the bat of the Rockwall High School product in there as much as possible. A healthy cut from Schaefer, now in an 0-2 hole to Gutierrez.
Gutierrez can hit mid to upper 60s, but throwing a lot of her off speed right now. You see that curveball at 59 and 60 miles per hour.
Runner on first after the single from Meggers. Schaefer will foul this one off of herself. She is hitting for Savannah Crocker, whose only plate appearance was being hit by a pitch on the knee by Hannah Wells, the only free pass given up by Wells in her start tonight. Wells gave up one hit and hit a batter in the second inning, and other than that was perfect in the other 3 frames. Schaefer, a charge in this one. Bennett back towards the warning track, able to corral it. And Meggers will have to retreat back to first. A loud out number 1 here in the 5th. As Joe Coons will continue to get some players experience before they have that early wake-up call tomorrow for their 9:30 a.m. game.
Have a new left fielder. That's actually Taylor Anderson, who has good speed, tracked that down in left field. But Reese Atwood out to talk to Citlali Gutierrez after giving up the hit, and then that deep ball. She's throwing a lot of her off-speed curve. You have to be able to locate that out of the zone, and right there to Schaefer, left that one over the middle of the plate.
Yeah, Anderson, of course, the newcomer from Oklahoma State. Grew up in the area at Dripping Springs High School. They love her speed, a former track star. Our coverage here on SEC Network Plus of the Bevo Classic will resume with Texas's game at 5 o'clock against Ohio State. We'll have the nightcap against Syracuse as well. Close out day 2 tomorrow. And the second pinch hitter for ACU is Elena Hampton, Pearland native, who is another individual who's had a stop at UT Arlington, where Joe Coons was most recently as an assistant for taking the ACU job last year. But I mean, she made no secret about it. She loved Coons' coaching style in Arlington. She's more than happy to come over as a senior to join the Wildcats. Oh, 2 left side. Martinez. Ball game. The defending national champions for the first time in 2026 defend their home dirt. A run rule victory against ACU here on day 1 of the Bevo Classic.
Well, Texas gave the ball to a freshman, said let's get us started, and that she did. Hannah Wells threw 4 solid innings before giving way to Citlali Gutierrez, but on all fronts, Texas looks like they're clicking. Pitching was strong, defense even stronger, and offensively, the power game still in play.
Along the way, Reese Atwood avoids the looming headline throughout the weekend of will she find number 59? She took care of that tonight.
Well, that's I say a monkey to get off your back. After a while, it can hang over you, so got that out of the way early in season, and now she writes her own record from here on out.
Great to be back at the ballpark this spring, as we'll see Texas again tomorrow in their doubleheader against Ohio State and Syracuse. For Kat Osterman and our entire crew, I'm Lincoln Rose saying so long from McCombs Field. Final score, 11-0 Texas. Be sure to tune in to SEC Network tomorrow, 6 Eastern, 5 Central for the Buckeyes and the second-ranked Longhorns. To watch this game in its entirety, visit the ESPN app or watch ESPN.com. This has been a presentation of ESPN.